this is Carolina Millan. Welcome to a new episode of Beyond the Hustle. And I'm here today. I'm very excited to be here with Amanda Holmes. She is the CEO of Holmes International and a really great lady I met about a year ago. So I'm very excited that you're here. How are you, Amanda?
I am wonderful. I'm so happy to be here as well. I'm so glad we got this followed up just a year later, but we made it happen.
I know. I wanted to make it happen sooner, but I don't know. I kept forgetting.
Hey, we teach a little thing. The single most important thing you need to succeed in business is pig-headed discipline and determination. So at least we were pig-headed about making sure that we got this.
Yes. So I'm very happy that we're making it happen. So, like I said, Amanda is the CEO at Holmes International. We'd love to hear, Amanda, a little bit more about what you guys do, to share a little bit about the story and also about you personally so people get to know you a little better.
Absolutely. So we've assisted 250,000 businesses worldwide at this point over the last 30 years. My father, Holmes, started the business. He got his big break working for a billionaire by the name of Charlie Munger. Have you ever heard of Charlie Munger or Berkshire Hathaway?
Yes.
Okay. Co-chairman of Berkshire Hathaway. So my father was able to double the sales for 9 different companies for Charlie, all within 12 to 15 months, and several of them doubled multiple years consecutively. That's when he realized that he had a system for how to double sales. So then he worked with 60 of the Fortune 500 and then wrote this book, The Ultimate Sales Machine, which is, so many companies have voted it in the top 10 most recommended marketing and sales books of all time, which is such an honor. And that's how we've been able to serve so many businesses because he started training. We've had hundreds trained in our methodologies to assist in one-on-one with coaching or in our boot camps or just done for you services. So we teach the skills it takes to grow from 1 million to 5, from 5 million to 10, from 10 million to 100 million and beyond.
That is brilliant. And yes, I had heard about Charlie Munger, so that is remarkable. So this book, yes, it's definitely, when I was first starting out over 10 years ago, there was a book that everybody was talking about. All the mentors that I follow, they would always recommend this book, included in their list. And as I see, and as I've known for a little while, you guys have updated it now. There's a 2022 updated version. What would you say has changed since the original book was written? And what can we expect from the new one?
Absolutely. So 15 years ago, when my father released the book, the average company was on 7 different marketing mediums. Today, we're on an average of 13 different marketing mediums with 5 social media platforms and 3 paid advertising sites. So we are doing double the amount of work to get the attention of our prospect because our prospects are inundated with commercial messages, just clutter. We now have 3.8 billion social media pages that we're all competing. If you're feeling like, wow, I don't know why, but I just can't get my prospect to hear me, or they're just not replying, or when I send a message, they're not answering, or when I leave a voicemail, they're not picking up. Why is this? It's because the clutter factor is so high. So grabbing their attention is more difficult than ever before, especially since you'd think with all of these omni-channel marketing techniques, it would be easier for a salesperson to actually get through. But it used to take an average of 5 touches or 5 follow-ups for a salesperson to get their attention. Now we're on an average of 9 to 12 touches for a salesperson. And 80% of salespeople don't follow up after 3 touches. Right. So we really have to start thinking, how are we pig-headed, right? Again, pig-headed, disciplined, and determined to get our prospects' attention, but then do it in a way that isn't salesy, because the traditional commission breath salesperson is just, they're dying fast. The chapter 4 of the new edition is Death of a Salesman, Birth of a Strategist, because 97% of our prospects feel that salespeople are too pushy today. So what can we do to provide value? We call it stop selling, start educating. So I took all of my father's timeless strategies that obviously the book has still been selling tens of thousands of copies purely just word of mouth. I really haven't put marketing dollars behind it in several years. But now it's the updated tactical implementation of them that has changed. So the strategies, the timeless strategies stay the same. It's just the tactics that change.
Yeah, like probably the art of marketing hasn't changed. It's mostly the science, right? The platforms and that kind of thing.
Exactly. Yeah,
But
my
yeah,
father talked.
the
Yeah, go ahead.
attention span. Yeah, the attention span. I mean, today is just like this.
Crazy. I look at how I consume content. I will not watch a television show, but I'll go on Facebook Watch, and it feeds me based on the algorithm TV shows that I'll watch a double speed TV show that will be 13 minutes long with no commercial breaks. And it's just the most bizarre way of watching or consuming a television show. I look at that and go, wow, what have we come to today where I don't want to see a commercial. I don't even want to watch it 1 speed. I'll watch it 0.5 speed or 1.5 speed or 2 speed. It's just strange.
Yeah, definitely. So definitely, and anybody watching here right now, I'm gonna put the link for the updated version of the book so you guys can get it. So let's talk about maybe some of the strategies that, because you said you have helped like 250,000 businesses, right, over the years to double, triple, etc. their sales. What are some simple strategies that people, anybody in a business of any size could start implementing right now to see a difference, to see an increase in their sales?
So we have the fastest, least expensive way to double sales. It's called the Dream 100. And that's a really important place to start. It started with my father working for Charlie Munger. So he was given a list of 22 different potential prospects. And Charlie said, okay, go cold call these 2,200 people. Now, when he did some analysis of the 2,200, he realized that only 167 of them purchased 95% of the space. So instead of going just spray and pray, going after everyone, he led an intensive. That's where the Dream 100 was invented. He led an intensive effort to the Dream 167 at that time, where every single week he would provide some kind of value. He would send, at that time, it was a direct mail piece, and then he'd follow up the next week with a phone call, and then he'd follow up the next week with a fax, and then he'd do the direct mail piece again. And he did this every single week. For the first 4 months, he didn't get one sale, which everybody in the office started to talk like, what is up with this sales expert? And he can't even get a sale, but he was going after the biggest, best clients, right? So it's not the absolute fastest, but in the 6th month, he closed the largest contract that the industry had ever seen, Xerox. He brought Xerox into their industry. And then after that, closed another 28. So they doubled sales in the 6th month, and they continued to double sales over and over and over again in every industry or in every company multiple years in a row, following this Dream 100. So by definition, the Dream 100, it's about, there's always a smaller number of better buyers than there are all buyers. That means that marketing and selling to them is cheaper than marketing and selling to all buyers. So I would even challenge everybody on this right now. Your homework would be, who is one person that could completely change your world? Who's that one? And if you got them as a client, what would be the lifetime value of that client? And if that is a tantalizing, exciting number, you will do whatever it takes to get that client regardless. And when you think of getting that client, it's about being in their face, in their place, in their space. My father always used to say that, in their face, in their place, in their space. But you do it in a way that you're the bright spot in their day, right? You are providing them helpful tips. You are giving them great value. Maybe you're sending them clients. You find out what their pain points are and you're trying to solve them for them. You send them clever jokes or memes or videos that they would find interesting. Just perpetually being a part of their world until they feel morally obligated to take a meeting with you, to discuss with you, until they become a client. So the progress is, okay, Dream 100 is, I've never heard of you before, to, oh, I think I've heard of them, to, oh, I know them, to, yeah, we work together. That is the progression of what a Dream 100 should be.
And you start by looking at your current client base and identifying the people who are buying more from you.
Absolutely. So the best way to identify, because a lot of the time people think that they know exactly who their Dream 100 is, but what we've found over doing this for decades is that that is the biggest gap in business owners' understanding, is they actually don't know who that should be. So we actually have a whole 47-point checklist to determine who your dream clients are. But the first step of them is to pull a list of your clients, either over the last year or 3 years, depending on how many you have. Some people have more clients than others. So, and then list them by who has spent the most money with you. So who spent the most money with you, and start analyzing, is it true? Is it the 80-20 rule? Because a lot of the time it is that 80% of your revenue is produced by 20% of your clientele. I would say even less than that many times.
Yeah.
And then when you've identified who is that top echelon, start to identify what is it about them that you need to understand. Where do they spend their time online? Well, how did they come into your world? How can you recreate that for the next batch of Dream 100 that you're bringing in?
Now, I know you go to events a lot. That's how we met, and I love going to events as well. But I feel like sometimes I don't take advantage of the networking opportunities. So, what are some of your strategies to network when you go to an event? What do you suggest people do when they go to a networking event?
Oh man, I have a great one. Okay, so Salesforce reports that 80% of leads that are made at events are never followed up on. So I have a
80%.
strategy.
Ouch.
80%, yes. So there is this is a strategy that works 100% of the time, and I teach it from stage. It's usually people's favorite from my keynote, which is funny. It's so simple and it doesn't cost you a dime. Okay, so here's how it goes. So imagine that we're having a dialogue and we just met like we did. And I go, you know what? This was so much fun. Let's do something fun. And you look at me like, something fun. Okay. Who would turn down something fun? Well, what is it? And I pull up my phone and I say, smile. And we take a selfie. Okay. And then I go, great. Now I'll text it to you. What's your number? And I will tell you that little hack of getting a selfie with somebody and texting it to them has gotten me the cell phone numbers of heads of industries, of my bigger, better buyers, right? And you just assume it. You have to just pause and wait. I'm ready for your cell phone. And I maybe had it like twice where they bunted me like, well, I don't know about some. Okay, email. What's your email? Right? And you wait to get that, because now the door is open for it anytime. I've done it years down the line where we had like probably a 2-minute interaction, and I did what we called it the signature selfie. So I watched a gentleman by the name of Luis Garcia. His Instagram handle is Law of Ambition. I watched him do it to the president of UGG Boots, and I went, oh my God, that was bloody brilliant. We have to do this more. So we call it the signature selfie. And now, years later, I will text people, hey, it's, what's going on with you? And they're like, who is this? And then I'll resend the picture of us in the selfie. Remember me? And they'll be like, oh yeah, faintly. But because we're smiling and we look so happy, they're like, well, I guess this is okay. We should continue to talk. But then the second step, so this is the first, get their text, get their cell phone. Then the second I follow up with, great, where do you spend your time online? Because everybody's online, right? And everybody has their different places where they want to hang out. Where do you spend your time? Oh, I like Instagram. Oh, I like Twitter. Oh, I like LinkedIn. So you find out where they are, and then you friend each other on that platform so that you have fodder to be able to follow up with them. Now they show up on your feed, you get to interact with one another, you're commenting on one another. Then that follow-up really happens, because as you know, the abyss of our cell phones, it just goes into the cell phone and you never contact them again.
Yeah.
So you want both. You want both forms of contact.